You know this one?
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper and I have COVID. After 2 years of being pretty, safe and following all the restrictions, Toronto opened up and there were a few shows and I guess that caught me. So I'm actually in day 4 of self-isolation as I'm recording this because I'm bored and I figured, you know what, let's make a short, fun video. It's not about COVID, don't worry, it's not about my experience. It's about something completely different that I just want to have some fun with. I'm going to talk about the most and I guess second most copied riff in heavy metal. Now, the most copied riff in metal is often referred to as the 2 minutes to midnight riff. There was one very popular video on the Ruthless Metal channel. I think they had to take that down because of a copyright violation, so we'll see how this video goes. Now, long story short, that riff is basically a relatively straightforward, simple power chord riff that, you find variations of in many songs. Now, this riff didn't start with metal at all. Like so many things in hard rock and heavy metal, it has its roots in blues and blues rock, and you can go through many recordings of early blues songs and you'll find examples of songs and riffs that sound like that. To give you one non-metal example, you can go back to 1971 with the Moody blues with The Story in Your Eyes. And yes, the godfathers of heavy metal, Black Sabbath, they also have a song with a riff that sounds pretty, similar to that one, Megalomania. But we'll come back to that in just a second. Anyways, I'm gonna just squash together some of these songs to give you an idea of how similar this riff, comes up once in a while. Now, I'm not saying that all these bands have been ripping off one of the other. Absolutely not. Although some are much more similar than others. But it's just a very, easy way to make a riff. And if then also the guitar sound and the production is a little similar to other songs, it might sound like it was copied. Many of these riffs are actually quite different if you look at the notes. However, they're pretty similar. And some of them, they might be just massive rip-offs. And I'll let you decide in the comments which ones you think are actual rip-offs versus tributes or just people that, had similar ideas. The funny thing is that, a lot of people go back to like, oh yeah, hey, do you know all those songs that sound like 2 minutes to midnight? You'll find that 2 minutes to midnight is far from the first song in this list. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit more about another riff that has popped up a lot in metal, but we're going to talk about that later in this video. So without further ado, let's play you some riffs. I'm going to play 2 minutes to midnight again, just so that you remind yourself that's what that sounds like, and that's what everybody talks about. And then we're going to go with Black Sabbath. That was pretty crazy, wasn't it? Okay, well, you know what? Like I promised, let's talk about, maybe the second most copied riff in metal. I'm just gonna give you a few examples. We had one of the songs in this list. Let's go back to Battleaxe by Battleaxe. This song actually sounds in a really funny way. Let's play the end of that song. That sounds a little familiar, no? I think most of you will probably go like, hey, that sounds very much like Diamond Head's Am I Evil? That opening riff actually has been copied many times before with some famous bands, some less famous bands. An example of that would be the Swedish band Warning with Sword and Sorcery. Now, when Diamond Head were writing Am I Evil, they actually wanted to make a song that was heavier than Symptoms of the Universe by Black Sabbath, which at the time was considered the heaviest song around. But, I think another band may have inspired them as well. Let's listen to Love Gun by Kiss. All right, well, whether it is great minds think alike and come up with very similar riffs, or people just love to look at the past and pay tribute to some of their heroes in metal, maybe a little bit of both. Long story short, if you listen to enough metal, you're gonna hear the similar riffs over and over again. That's not necessarily plagiarism. That just means that there's a couple of really cool riffs that we like to come back to over and over again. And I can promise you that if I make an update of this video in 5 years from now, there's going to be so many more songs that I can add to the list for both these riffs. Anyway, that was me from my COVID self-isolation bunker. I'll see you soon for another video. Stay metal.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.